This stock could garner you the greatest returns you've seen to date this year. The stock in question, Pershing Square Tontine Holdings. Now, the name, even the stock name itself, is kind of hard to understand. A Tontine Holding. To explain it easily, say you have 11 investors in a company, each with $1,000 down. And say something unfortunate happens and one of the investors die. So you only have 10 investors left afterwards. So in a normal company, that investor spot is open to be acquired. But in a Tontine Holding, instead of that investor slot opening up, it is actually distributed amongst the other investors. So each investor, the 10 that are left, each get $100 added to their portfolio. It's evenly distributed. So that's essentially what a Tontine Holding is. Essentially, you profit from the death of, or the loss of ownership of the stock or the holding. Now, the company goal of Pershing Square Tontine Holdings is essentially to acquire a company and make it an IPO. So companies that are very successful that are not IPOs, such as SpaceX or Bloomberg, that aren't IPOs yet, Pershing Square Tontine Holdings wants to acquire those and bring them to the market. So this acquisition of a company and bringing it to a market is called a SPAC. A SPAC is a special purpose acquisition company. So a special purpose acquisition company, they want to acquire companies for a special purpose, which is to bring them to the IPO. And historically, SPACs have not, they've been very volatile. They're either very profitable or they are extremely detrimental to your portfolio. So it's up to you whether you want to invest in it or not. Hopefully I can explain why I am investing in it at the very end and you understand why, but you don't have to. This is just advice. So since it's a SPAC, it's very dependent on what they actually do. And the CEO of PSTH stated himself that he is looking for a mature unicorn. So who is the owner of PSTH? Well, it's none other than billionaire Bill Ackman. Very successful hedge fund investor. So he has a track record that is extremely successful. I mean, he has his ups and downs, but every investor does. And PSTH is on track to be one of his greatest investments to date. Bill Ackman owned another SPAC back in 2011. And in 1 year, that SPAC went on to acquire none other than Burger King. So what is Bill Ackman looking to invest in and acquire? Well, there's lots of different speculations and whether PSTH will acquire billion-dollar industries or million-dollar industries. But all of them are extremely successful. Some of these include Stripe, if you don't know about it, it's a rival with PayPal, extremely profitable, or SpaceX, the spacefaring powerhouse. So it's very different industries, but extremely profitable companies. And personally, I don't think he's going to go down either of those routes. As of today, December 8th, Stripe has officially been confirmed that it's not going to happen. So I was right on that assumption. And SpaceX is kind of, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see SpaceX being a worthwhile investment. I personally see PSTH acquiring Planeter. Now, if you don't know what Planeter is, it's a data gathering and analysis company working directly with the U.S. government. Now, if you know anything about government businesses, they have lots of confidence and they very rarely fail unless they do something very illegal. They already have $1.2 billion in contracts as of this year, and greater growth is only on the forecast. Why am I buying this stock? Well, following Bill Ackman's track record, I'm investing in PSTH due to the massive potential returns that can come from this stock. As of December 8th, 2020, the stock price is at $24.34 a share. Now, that's not too expensive. And I find it is an extremely small price to pay for a potential doubling 100% or 150% increase in my equity. PSTH is one of those stocks where you buy it and you forget about it until it's in the headlines with a massive potential, with massive gains in the last few days. PSTH is one of those stocks where you buy it and forget about it. Say you put away $100 every month in savings. You can put away $75 next month and put $25 into PSTH, and potentially the next come April or June or anytime next year, take out $50, $60 worth of that share, and you basically doubled your money. Confidence is another reason why I am investing in PSTH. And what confidence does PSTH have? Well, it's a record-breaking SPAC, $1 billion. For, I think as of right now, December 8th, it's worth 4.1 or $2 billion. It's the most a SPAC has ever been valuated at. So it's extremely confident. Some may argue overpriced, but I don't think so. Did you have a billionaire with a very successful track record? I think the confidence follows with the billionaire. So with a SPAC, usually the greatest loss that you ever see, unless the SPAC closes, is 5%. And 5% of the price of the share is essentially around where the stock opened up at. So the max you could lose is 5%. It opened up, I think, in April of this year at $20 or $21 a share, I believe. If you're going to invest in the market, you're going to have to accept risk. And risk where you can calculate how much you can lose is definitely worth it. So the risk reward is vastly skewed in the case of PSTH. And the potential loss of 5% and the potential increase of 100% minimum, 200%, is very, very alluring. That's why I am investing in PSTH, and I implore you to invest in it as well. You don't have to put a lot of money in. Put $50 into it. That's 2 shares. You can potentially make $100 off of it. Even if you don't want to invest in it, at least learn about it. It's good to learn about what a SPAC is. I never knew what it was before I researched for the last 2 months, and now I understand. Now, if you did take my advice and you did invest into it, hopefully you have, both of us have very bullish markets in the future. But if not, hey, we can only lose 5%. So it is what it is. But if you did enjoy and you did like my advice and you took it and you learned something new, you can always hit the like button. It's free. It's free. And I benefit from it because it makes you feel good. Hopefully you enjoyed. I enjoyed making money with you.